Today we're going to talk about a team from France that's returning to Champions League football for the first time in 2 decades, that being the Blood and Gold of Racing Club de Lens. This club surprised a lot of people last season, finishing second in Ligue 1. They've been around since 1906. They took the name Racing, or Racing, from the fact that many clubs around France were using it at the time. They were first dressed in black and green, the black being for the coal mining region that they're surrounded by, and green from the name of the pitch that they had started to play on at that time. They took gold and red to hold similar ideas with the coal mining region, where coal was gold pretty much, and the red for the blood of the coal miners in the region. So they have a lot of respect for a working class mentality. This club is about gradual success. Decade over decade since their founding, they've moved up the French pyramid, having success, a little bit of drawbacks at times, some relegations, but they always bounce back. They finally made it back to Ligue 1 after a couple down years this century in 2020 during the pandemic-shortened season. This club's finest hour was at the waning edge of the 20th century, seeing as starting in 1998, they had 3 successive seasons of success, starting with winning the Ligue in 1998, 1999 taking the Coupe de la Ligue, and being semi-finalists in the Europa League in 2000. This is their kit from last season, pretty good look, right down the middle from Puma. Let's talk about a couple former players, starting with Raphael Varane, now being a name you'll probably know, seeing as he started with the club before moving to Real Madrid and now currently at Manchester United. Second good name to mention is Johan Lachaud, who's a local man. He played for the youth academy at the club, starting his career with Lens, and was the scorer of the league-winning goal in 1998. So he's the man for folklore for the club. And finally, the only man with a retired number at the club, that being Marc-Vivien Foé, who died unfortunately in 2003 while playing for Cameroon. His number is retired here, as well as at Manchester City, who he was playing for at the time. Into their current squad, they've done a really good job replenishing, seeing as they lost their 2 finest players from last season, Seko Fofana going to Al Nassr, as well as Ikoma Openda going over to RB Leipzig, so that being their striker, and their midfielder of consequence. They've replaced with Elye Wahi, who's a great young French striker coming over from Montpellier. The club plays a 3-4-3 formation, meaning they have 3 center backs, 2 of whom are young and talented at the age of 24 each. Kevin Danso, as well as Facundo Medina, are great young talents that give this back line youth as well as rigidity. So that's your rundown on RC Lens. I hope it gives you a foundation to understand them, seeing as you'll probably be seeing them for the first time since they're in the Champions League this upcoming season. It might be a difficult one for them, seeing as anytime a club takes a big step forward unexpectedly, especially in the European football, they generally can struggle there as well as in the league. So the odds on would tell you that this club might drop down a couple positions in the league so that they can focus on the Champions League and have a fun season there for their fans. But I'm not so certain. I think they can go further and solidify their place. They've always been a club that builds slowly and gradually. So I think this time around you're looking at 3rd or 4th as a finish in the league, as well as perhaps getting into the group stage of the Champions League.